So how was that? Did you learn a ton? I hope you had a lot of fun, and I hope you picked up a lot of skills and a lot of new techniques that you can use here in Photoshop. I didn't mean to bombard you with keyboard shortcuts and techniques and neat little tricks and things, but again, I really wanted you to get a strong foothold, strong understanding of Photoshop, again, from the ground up, from the fundamentals into some of the more advanced aspects of Photoshop. So here's a recap of what you and I discussed. This is sort of the review here. I really wanted to make sure that you felt comfortable inside the Photoshop interface. You were fine getting around, working with your tools, working with your palettes, navigating through your images, and working with multiple images as well. I gave you a pile of productivity techniques inside Photoshop, so I hope you were able to pick up a lot there. And then we got into a discussion on resolution. Remember that? We talked about DPI, dots per inch, PPI, pixels per inch, and LPI, lines per inch. And I hope all of that makes sense. With that under our belts, we got into resizing, resampling, and cropping our images. Hopefully all good there. And then we talked about the selection tools inside Photoshop. You saw the shape selection tools, the magnetic lasso tool, the freehand lasso tool, a bunch of others in there. So hopefully you're comfortable with those. And then we got into working with layers, and we talked about regular Photoshop layers and background layers and combining images together. And then from there, we got into masking. You saw the quick mask mode, layer masks, clipping groups, a bunch of other techniques in there, so hopefully good there. And then we saw a little bit on the photo retouching side, and I was able to show you some new techniques, some new tools that we have inside Photoshop CS5 in that regard, which is great. And then we talked about Photoshop's color modes, RGB, and CMYK. We got into the basics of color correction, and then very quickly we got into levels and curves and adjustment layers, the more advanced aspects of color correction, and of course the non-destructive color correction there as well. Finally, we had a discussion on special effects and filters, and you saw how to non-destructively apply filters and effects to your photos. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a whole heck of a lot.